We spend lots of time on this channel talking about how to protect yourself, protect your wealth, save yourself taxes, etc. But there's the other side of it, which is actually more important, which is, hey, what are the opportunities? How is it that you grow wealth? How is it that you increase your income? How is it that you build a life that enables you to go where you want, to have what you want, to have freedom? And so today I'm going to answer a question from one of our viewers. And I encourage you guys, if you guys have any questions, things that you'd like me to make content on, please let me know. Happy to do that for you. So here, the question was, this was from Timothos. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I was hoping to hear about what your top digital nomads are doing for income. I heard briefly e-commerce, dropshipping, affiliate marketing, and Amazon FBA. It'd be nice to hear what your top clients are doing to afford their traveling lifestyles. Okay, so I think that it's always interesting to know where the opportunities are. I'm going to take this from two different tacks. One is going to be what are kind of the business opportunities that I'm seeing out in the marketplace right now. I'll give you a little bit of context around, if you're just getting started versus, if you're more advanced, if you have more resources, etc. Kind of looking at both sides. And then also I'm going to give you some perspective on what are the types of careers, if you're interested in developing skills or you know somebody you'd like to suggest to them who should develop some skills, which way to go. So we're going to dive into that. Before we do though, if you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Make sure you don't miss out on any of our videos. We produce great content for you, hopefully great content every single day. And if you're at all interested in these subjects of how to build an international life, build an international business, pay the lowest legal amount of tax possible, get residencies in other countries, get alternate citizenships, build a plan B, etc. We help you to figure out what the best structure is, the best solution, etc., as well as implement it, forming companies, opening bank accounts, etc. Feel free to reach out to me. You can book a call, clarity.fm/Michael Rosmer. There's a link in the description below, or you can visit our websites, offshorecitizen.net, offshorecapitalist.com, and you can send us a message through there. Now, let's start with the subject of businesses, okay? So loosely speaking, one of these is not really so much a business, but I'm going to include it anyway. And maybe two of them you can say are not businesses, but I'm going to include them anyway because they're more, somebody else is not hiring you. Let's put it that way, okay? So as the original comment said, yeah, most of the people who I work with and most of the opportunities I see are in the world of online, okay? Certainly, if anything was revealed by 2020, in my opinion, it's that if you don't have an online business of some sort, you're kind of dead in the water. Like, this is just such a critical thing today. I know if you were to go back to, the late 90s, people were pitching, hey, listen, you need to be on the internet, etc. Well, today, you definitely need to be on the internet. And in particular, if you want to craft a life of freedom and opportunity for yourself, the reality is you can just reach a global marketplace so quickly. You have the freedom to go where you want. There's just that much more money out there, etc., etc. And so let's quickly go through some of the key opportunities. So the first, I'm going to call it the easiest, but easiest is maybe not the best term because, of course, all of these have their own challenges, and that is Amazon FBA. Okay, so doing Amazon FBA businesses, this is largely driven by having the right product and the right niche that people are searching for, and you can get ranking, and there's not too much competition. You can get good reviews, you can build up, etc. What's the advantage of Amazon? The advantage of Amazon is Amazon brings you traffic. You don't have to figure out how to build traffic and funnels. That is really, really hard. Okay, so it's just extraordinarily difficult to master traffic through Facebook or through Google, etc. And if you don't have to do that, your job was just that much easier, okay? So what people are doing essentially is going on to places like AliExpress. However, the truth is you could manufacture your own products, you could do all kinds of stuff, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit later, in order to have products that they can sell on Amazon, okay? And Amazon's going to bring you the traffic, you're going to do the fulfillment. It's, I think, for a lot of people, an easier entry point than doing something like dropshipping, which we'll talk about in a minute, okay? So that's one of the first big opportunities is Amazon FBA, okay? Which, by the way, it means fulfilled by Amazon, okay? So that's that one. And it has been going on for quite a while, but I still see people doing incredibly well in that space, and I think there's an incredible amount of opportunity left in that space. So take that for what it is. The second kind of easier way to get started is with dropshipping. Okay, so how does dropshipping work? These are usually through Shopify stores. Okay, so if you're not familiar, Shopify is like an online shopping content management website platform that you can use, and they just have so many plugins. They make it so easy for you today. Okay, so what do these people do? They basically build a Shopify store and they're selling somebody else's product. Okay, so what ends up happening is the manufacturer manufactures it, they warehouse it, they ship it. And so you don't have to worry about inventory. Back in the day, I used to have a business that we would import products from China into Canada and sell them around Canada, the US. I learned how complex logistics, supply chains, inventory management, etc. are. And so the dropshipping approach has just taken all of that away. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff, right? You just focus on finding the product, marketing it, and so it's easier than building up the whole chain yourself, okay? And so what I would say is, even if you're going to go into some of the other spaces, Amazon and Shopify and dropshipping could be good starting points to test out markets, to test out products, etc., before you go wholeheartedly into something later, which I'm going to mention in just a second. So anyway, that's the second thing. Now, I will say this. I have noticed over the last couple of years that the dropshipping model is getting much more difficult. First of all, payment processors are not as friendly with dropshipping as they are with people who actually warehouse and manage it. You have things like, if you're in a lot of the world, delivery times, like Amazon has basically conditioned people to expect 1 or 2 day delivery, say in the US. And if you have to ship something from China, well, it's going to be a lot more than 2 days in most cases. So you have some complications around that are worth considering. Okay, so keep that in mind. That space has gotten harder and will probably continue to get harder. A lot of the low-hanging fruit gets picked up, and so you have to get more and more complex. Now, what I've noticed both, in particular in this and the next one, is the people who are doing it really well are doing it by really optimizing the funnel. So it used to be you could kind of have like a one-product store, and you can still do that potentially, but the people who are doing it really well, they are optimizing the upsells, the downsells, the recurring business, basically the lifetime value, the LTV of the customers, in order to boost revenue. So that would be what I would say about, if you're going down that path, be aware that, you want to find the right product. Yeah, you want to market it to the right audience, etc. Okay, maybe you need to master Facebook ads or, YouTube ads or something else. But at the end of the day, because your customer acquisition costs have gone higher, there's a lot more complexities. Facebook is shutting down ad accounts, et cetera, which again we'll talk about in one of the upcoming ones. In spite of that, what that means is that you're gonna maybe make less money off a product, and that's on a profit basis because more of your profit's eaten up on the customer acquisition cost. So you want to recoup the value at the other end. Okay. At the same time, there's been a lot of scams out there, so that's kind of mangled a bunch of the industry. Anyway, it's got its own challenges. Okay. What is the third? So the third is really taking these two and going to the next level, which I think is where the real opportunity, like most of my clients, and where I have to see the opportunity is building an actual brand. Right? This has started a few years ago. There was kind of this wave of affiliates who had moved from affiliate marketing into drop shipping. They'd kind of treated it like an affiliate business, which was almost very churn and burn, very fast cycle, fast money, etc. And it got much more difficult. And what they ended up realizing on the other side is that in order to have longevity and in order to make the big money, you want to build a brand. Okay, you want to build customer attention. You want to have a broader product line. You want to have customer lists and community, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that's what the people who are really doing exceptionally well, I would say, are doing, is building that brand of their own, which is much more difficult to duplicate on things like Amazon, right? So that's the third business. Now, this brings us to the fourth, affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing, yes, that was like a huge wave. I would say like 2010 through to, 2015, 2016, somewhere. Like it started to get harder. as Facebook got, well, first Google got much tougher with Google AdWords, and then Facebook got tougher as well. And so you've seen the kind of this transition of traffic. So this game is not easy like it used to be. It used to be that you could be a one-man show as an affiliate, and to be, at least to be somebody who crushes it, I think that's almost impossible to do today, okay? You typically need a team. Doing something like getting Facebook accounts is hard. Doing something like getting cards to find those accounts is hard. Doing things like, I mean, people who are running just totally legitimate ad accounts are having their ad accounts banned and shut down, and you have to have a whole process built around just getting Facebook accounts back. Now, Google's better on it, but you know, ads would typically be higher in terms of cost per click, say, but on the other hand, maybe more targeted ads. So anyway, people are looking elsewhere. Some people have had some success with Snapchat ads, looking at things like Pinterest, etc. But in general, this space has gotten much more difficult. The two places that I know some people who do really, really well still in Black Hat, but it's a very tough game to get into. If you're not already in it, I think that I wouldn't recommend it to somebody. Where I would say people who are doing well still can do it is some on the SEO side. Okay. Now the SEO side I don't find typically crushes really big numbers. I don't know people who are pulling 8 figures from those types of businesses anymore. The ones who do pull really good numbers are what I would call like legitimate affiliates who end up having strong relationships with the company that they're working on. It's like they're like intertwined. So they're not just pitching some product, they become deeply ingrained in the product, etc. And they take on that role of almost being a marketing department. Which brings me to, some people are doing ad agencies. That was like a really popular model, was to try and flip from being an affiliate into running an ad agency. It's okay. I haven't seen people really crush it in that space. I would say that some have crushed it really well on affiliate, and the ones who do, like I said, the ones I see mostly today are more white hat. They're doing things that are more sustainable. They're not just trying to churn and burn accounts really fast like they used to. There's some exceptions, but by and large, that's the case. Okay, this brings me to the next thing, which is not so much a business, but has some elements of that, and that is day trading. Now, day trading can be really profitable if you're good at it, but you can also lose money, and I think it has. These all can have a long learning curve, but this can, you're likely to blow up a few accounts before you get profitable. And so it's a tough game, but I've seen more and more. Like just in the last week, I had probably 3 new clients who were coming from the day trading space. Okay, so pretty common. This also fits into kind of like the crypto thing. A lot of people are pulling decent numbers or big numbers out of crypto. Some of them are actively trading it. Some are in situations where they've been longer term holding it. I think that if you're not actively trading, it's tough to have a reliable, consistent income stream. So it's more like something that people will use to supplement their existing business as opposed to an actual business like day trading is. Okay. Now this brings me to what I would say the 3 recommended careers are that you can do. Okay. So the first one is software development. All right. Just being a software engineer. Now, I've heard some people complain about this, that they don't pay what they used to, etc. I find that this to be kind of nonsense. What it requires is that you're always on the cutting edge. Okay, so for instance, the space that I would say right now is you should be maybe a Solidity developer, maybe you're a Flutter developer, something like this, where there's a shortage of that talent. Okay, so Solidity, for those of you who don't know, is the Ethereum language. It's backward, or Polkadot is backwards compatible with it. And so having these types of skill sets, there's a real shortage of those people. And so in addition to getting a job where you're paid fairly well as a developer who can work potentially from anywhere, you may get a percentage of the project you're working on, which gives you a lot of high upside. Okay, so that's it's a really good skill set to develop. Also, like when you look at something like Flutter, the development environment has become so good. It's so easy, relatively speaking, to develop great mobile apps compared to what it used to be, that the learning curve is much shorter. what you can do, the quality, etc., is just much, much better. So I see some really good opportunities for somebody who wants a career in that space. The next two are marketing related. So if you're going to go into marketing, I think the best thing that you can do probably is go into copywriting. Okay, so copywriting is potentially really lucrative, and it's something that you don't have to spend a lot of money to learn. You can learn it mostly online. You can join groups, forums. You can have people critique your ad copy, etc. There's always people who need it. You can basically get paid to learn along the way. And basically the way that it starts is, okay, you might get paid a small fee to do some ad copy. And as you become better and better, you can demand not only a higher fee, but a percentage of sales off that campaign, which can all of a sudden be worth quite a lot. And then people want to partner with you, etc. And that can become a fantastic career. So I highly recommend, especially people coming from countries that are less expensive. I think you have a big advantage over people coming from expensive Western countries, because you can come in and offer a baseline price, learning part-time, and then turn around and kind of amp that up. Whereas if somebody in a really expensive country, say you're coming from Switzerland or something, or Australia, your base level to support yourself, you can't really afford to take away from your work to do that. A few $100 extra doesn't move the needle. So that's something that I think is worth noting. The last one is media buying, which goes kind of to the point about affiliates. This can be really lucrative as well. The problem I find with media buying is that the learning process, you kind of need somebody to take you under their wing and train you to do it. Now, there's certainly opportunities to do that if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to dive in and make things happen. It can be great. That being said, you've really got to spend a lot of money in order to figure out what works, what doesn't, understand the platforms. It's constantly changing, etc. So if I was going into it, I would be going for the copywriting angle instead. So anyway, those are some kind of broad-based opportunities and some context around, I think the sequence of which ones make sense depending on where you're at in the game. If you've got resources, I'd say, hey, listen, building e-commerce brands in the right space. One specific thing in that as well is SaaS. SaaS is pretty hot. If you can get a recurring income product, you're gonna have to spend a bunch of money to develop it up front. But if you can nail the right niche and get that recurring income, that can be a really good business model as well. So anyway, hope that helps. Again, if you're interested in international structuring, reducing your taxes, forming companies, opening bank accounts, moving abroad, getting other citizenships, investing, getting payment processing, hiring people abroad, etc., please reach out to me. You can book a call, clarity.fm/Michael Rosmer. There's a link in the description below. You can visit our websites, offshorecitizen.net, offshorecapitalist.com. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, like the video if you like it, tell your friends, share it with other people. We really appreciate it. And I'm going to look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.